Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to draw lilacs in a simple way. We'll also play with clipping masks and other features in Procreate. If we haven't met, I'm Liz and I'm an illustrator and pattern designer from Lisbon, Portugal. I'll provide a link to the color palette in the description box below so you can download it and draw along with me. So let's get started. So first of all, we are going to create a canvas. We are going to click on the plus sign here and I'm going to create a square canvas. I have it already here, but if you don't, let's create one by perfect for Instagram, which will be 1080 by 1080 pixels. Make sure that your color profile is on RGB if you are not going to print it, and let's click create. Now we have our canvas, but first let's choose a background color. You can do this at the beginning or at the end, but I like to start with it so I can see which colors will look best later. I'm choosing a light peach color. Something like this. And now we can start sketching. We'll start by drawing a basic shape for the lilac. Lilacs are like long triangles, so let's draw some curves to make that shape. First of all, pick a brush from Procreate's brush library. I'm picking under inking the dry ink, and I'm choosing a black color. So on your layers panel, you want to create a new layer and start sketching here. So we will name this layer sketch. Okay, so let's choose the thickness and the size of your brush and let's start drawing. Make some shapes like this. I'm going to use the transform tool to put it in the middle and maybe create a stem that goes like this. Some leaves. So that will give you a rough idea of what it's going to be as a basic shape to guide you. So it's not going to be perfect, but just make sure that you can make shapes that it's not too stiff. And I'm going to use the liquefy shape just to make it, so that it curves a little bit. And make it a little bit smaller so that it's in the center. And yeah, so that will be my basic shape. Now we are going to create another layer, and the first layer we're going to click on the end and we are going to lower the opacity so that we can see through it. And now we are going to choose a dark purple. So say that I like this one. And I'm going to choose a brush, so under sketching, and we're going to choose the chalk brush. And we are going to start drawing like a basic background color. Doesn't need to be perfect, just leave some blanks in there. Okay, so once you have that shape, we are going to draw the flowers. Click on the layers panel, click a plus sign, and we are going to choose a lighter purple. So say this one. I like this one. You can choose any brush you like, but I'm going to choose the script brush under calligraphy and script. Okay, And now instead of drawing your flowers one by one, which you could do it, you can do flowers like this, little flowers of 4 petals, okay? They don't need to be all perfect. Some of them you can draw them like this because they are folded. And of course you can draw outside the shape a little bit, so that will make the flower even stand out more. But I'm going to show you a little tip, and that is by clicking on the selection tool, color fill, and once you have that, you can create the shape of your petal and click on the button. So like this, see? Let me show you here, maybe it's clearer. So selection tool, color fill, and then you can create a petal, the shape that you want, and once you see the gray button, you click twice. Tap, tap, tap. See? The smaller the petals, the better, because they will look very real. Some of them you can draw 3 petals. If the background shape is distracting you, you just can turn off the color, the layer. Now, once you have your overall shapes, you can draw outside the line a little bit so that it doesn't look too fake. So it has like a natural look. And here outside with some buds. So I think it looks good to me. I'm just going to reshape some petals that look too big for me. And this one, which looks very big. Now if I turn on the background color, I will add maybe some dark colors there, just to fill in the blank spaces, you know. Okay, so now we have our overall shape of the flowers. Let's draw the stem and the leaves. So create another layer on top of the last one, which was the petals. Choose a brown color. So say here on the orange, we're going to choose a dark brown color. Under inking, we are going to choose dry ink, and we are going to draw here the stem. Move and rotate your canvas if you need it. So it doesn't matter if now looks on top of the petals. We are just going to drag this layer down under the background color of the lilac, and now it looks good. So now we need to create another layer with the leaves, and we are going to choose a yellow color for the undertone that will make our leaf, the colors will be richer, something like that. And I'm going to choose a clean, like a script, a clean brush that it closes perfectly. See? Make sure that you are closing the edges, so if you drag, it doesn't fill all your canvas. Actually, I'm not very sure about this color because it looks like it's contrasting with the background. So I'm going to go to the adjustment icon and hue, saturation, and brightness. So I'm going to change the color a little bit. Yeah, maybe something like this. So now that we have our yellow, we have our petals, we have our stem, we have the overall shape. Now we are going to build this flower with shadows and other hues to combine them, and you'll see that it will slowly get very beautiful. And yeah, so let's do it. Now you have the solid colors. Don't worry if it doesn't look great at this stage. I call it the meh stage because sometimes it's a phase. Like you see your drawing and you are not completely proud of it, but it's normal at this stage. So let's add some shades and more colors to make it look richer. Let's start with the leaves, and let's just create a new layer, and let's make this layer a clipping mask. A clipping mask, basically what means is that you will draw inside what is on the base layer. So say that you click here, make clipping mask, and once you see the arrow, now you are going to draw only inside the leaves. So say that we are going to choose a green color like this, and see, I'm only drawing inside. So we are going to choose the Salamanca brush under painting, which will give that watercolor effect. So if you brush once, it's very light, but if you brush several times, it will get darker, which is something that we want. Okay, I don't like this last stroke, so I'm going in there and trying to fix this. If you don't like the brush strokes that you see here, you can click this icon, this smudge icon, and you can smudge a little bit. But I like the texture that you see here. So now that we have the leaves, we can choose another green just to complete the colors, you know. Let's say I'm going to choose a darker green and try to brush again. And so these shapes are pretty difficult to work with if you want to change something. So I like to keep it on a different layer. I made this layer a clipping mask too. So I just need to brush here, brush a little bit there. You see how the colors are different, but it completes one to another. I think I'm going to add another clipping mask and make it as a multiply layer, and maybe while having the same color, I will have a darker green. So I think it looks pretty nice to me. I'm going to move on to the petals. So here what we can do to stay organized is swipe to the right, 2, 3, 4, and all the layers that belong to the leaves, we're going to group it and name it as leaves. So this is perfect while you are drawing to stay organized and see all your layers, so later on it's not too messy. Now we are going to go to the petals and tap the plus sign, and we are going to do the same. Click on the layer, clipping mask. So here what I want to do is to add some pinks and some lavender colors into the petals. So I'm just going to choose a pink one, very light. Okay, let's use the airbrushing, the medium brush, so that you can see better the colors, right? You see here, it's a little bit pink. You can brush here. Some random places where you think that the light might change, or just to give it a little bit of a twist. And now I think it looks too, yeah, maybe we can change it to multiply. And now you see that I have two colors. So one is only purple and the second one is a pink but in multiply. You can also keep it as a normal, and here on hue, saturation and brightness, darken it. See? So I think it looks good to me. I'm going to add another layer as a clipping mask too, and I'm going to add sort of a lavender here, so that we also have some of the bluish colors. I think it's too blue, so I'm going to change it here again. Okay, so perfect. Now we are going to add something that we forgot to add, is a yellow center, the stamen, in a new layer. So use the dry ink brush. Let's use the dry ink brush under inking, dry ink, and we're going to choose another layer and click on a yellow like this. So now we are going to zoom in and make smaller the brush. So they don't need to go in the center of all petals, but you can do it in some of them so it looks natural. Some here, some there. Now, so if you see, now we have the petals, the pink, the lavender, and the yellow. Okay, so what we are going to do is add a new layer and draw some darker lines inside every petal. So this way it will give some details. Here the buds, you can draw something like this. And if you want, you can outline some parts like this. I think it is optional. As a final touch, is to add some lines to the leaves. So we're going back to the leaves. We're going to group this as a flowers. Let's rename it flowers. And here the stems, we are going to tap on this and group these three stem. So now you know you have the background, the sketch, the stem, the leaves, and the flowers. Let's add some details to leaves. I'm going to make this as a clipping mask too. And let's choose the darker color that you have here and make it as a multiply layer. So now we are going to draw under inking with the ink bleed brush. We are going to draw some lines here. And I see that it's dark, but it's not too dark, so I'm going to add some darker lines there. Under this layer, I'm going to add another clipping mask, and if you see, if you are in between two clipping masks, if you add another layer, it will automatically set it as a clipping mask. I think I'm going to darken this stem, and I'm going to add as a multiply layer the color that I already had. Under painting, I'm going to go to the Salamanca brush, and we are going to add some darkness here. This side, you see that this shape, it's like a little bit folded, so in this edge, this part should be darker. And also this side. So as a final touch, you can add a little shadow behind the flower to make it pop. I'm going to add a clipping mask, set it as a multiply layer, or not clipping mask. I'm going to add another layer and set it as a multiply, and using the Salamanca brush, I'm going to pick the color of the background and start brushing. Make it size 12 maybe, and start brushing around. Remember that this brush is buildable, so the more pressure that you put in, the darker it becomes. Make it darker, maybe like this. If you want to take away a little bit of the color of these strokes, you can use the same brush as a razor. It looks like it's a little bit too much. Wait a second. Lower down the opacity. Okay. Here you have your lilac. I hope you like it, and remember that you have all the color palette on the description box. You just need to download it and import it as a color palette here by clicking the plus sign and new from file, okay? And you can draw the same colors that I have here. I hope you enjoyed this video, and remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. You can post your drawing on Instagram and tag me at the Flying Papaya. I'd love to see your versions of lilacs, and see you in my next video. Bye!